didn't mean to ruin his life. I just wanted him to feel embarrassed, just once. Instead, he lost his scholarship, his job, his future. And when I saw his mother crying, I realized maybe I shouldn't have done that. If you've ever been pushed to your breaking point, hit like, subscribe, and get ready. This story isn't going to end the way you think. Back in my sophomore year of college, there was a guy named Ryan. He was loud, charming, always surrounded by people who laughed at everything he said. And for some reason, he picked me as his favorite target. It started small, little comments in class. "Oh wow, you're actually talking today?" Or, "Careful guys, genius over here is about to bless us with his wisdom." People laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was easier than not laughing. I tried ignoring him, but ignoring someone like Ryan doesn't make you invisible. It makes you prey. He bumped into my desk, accidentally. He mimicked my voice when I asked questions. Once he stole my notebook while I was in the restroom and drew cartoons all over my notes. Childish stuff. But when it happens every day, it eats at you. You start second-guessing everything. How you walk, how you talk, whether you should even raise your hand again. And the worst part? He was admired. Star athlete, business major, partial scholarship, professors loved him, and I was just background noise. Then came the group project. We were paired together in marketing strategy class. I still remember the smirk on his face when he saw our names paired. "This'll be fun," he said. It wasn't. He didn't do any work, not a single slide. Then, the night before the presentation, he texted, "Make sure you don't screw this up." We presented. I carried the entire project. Halfway through, he interrupted me. "Yeah, what he's trying to say," he stepped in front of me and rephrased my research like it was his. After class, the professor shook his hand. "Excellent leadership, Ryan." Leadership. I stood there holding my laptop, invisible again. That was the moment something shifted in me. Not anger, something colder. I didn't want to punch him. I wanted him to feel small. A week later, I overheard him bragging in the cafeteria. "Man, attendance is such a joke. I haven't shown up to half my econ lectures. Professor doesn't even notice." He laughed. That's when the idea came. Our university had a strict attendance policy for scholarship athletes. Repeated absences could trigger a review. I knew because I had read the handbook front to back when I was struggling financially. Sent an anonymous email to the department. I didn't lie. I wrote that a scholarship athlete had been absent repeatedly and suggested they review attendance records. I expected maybe a warning, a meeting, maybe an awkward conversation. What I didn't expect was what happened next. 2 weeks later, Ryan wasn't in class or practice. Rumors spread. Academic review, attendance violations, possible misconduct investigation. When they checked records, they found more than absences, missed mandatory tutoring, ignored probation warnings. My email didn't create the problem, it exposed it. His scholarship was suspended pending review. Without it, he couldn't afford tuition. Without enrollment, he couldn't stay on the team. Within a month, he was gone, transferred quietly. No goodbye speech, no cafeteria laughs, just gone. At first, I felt powerful. Every time I walked into class without hearing a sarcastic comment, I felt lighter, like I could finally breathe. Until the day I saw him again, in the bookstore parking lot, standing beside his mother. She was crying. "I told you to take this seriously," she said. "We can't afford this without the scholarship." He didn't argue. He just stared at the ground. And for the first time, I didn't see a bully. I saw a 20-year-old kid watching his future collapse because someone pressed send. Me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed every joke, every interruption, and that parking lot. Revenge feels good in theory. In reality, it's messy.
You don't control how hard the dominoes fall. You light a match expecting a spark. Sometimes you get a wildfire. The real payoff wasn't watching him leave. It was walking into class weeks later, raising my hand and speaking without my voice shaking. No interruptions, no laughter, just respect. But that satisfaction? Heavy, quiet, not sweet, not triumphant, just complicated.
The night I sent that email, my hands were shaking so badly I had to steady my wrist with my other hand just to click send. I didn't plan to destroy his entire life. I just wanted him to feel a fraction of the humiliation I felt. But 3 months later, standing in a quiet courtroom in Manchester, watching my husband break down in front of a judge, I realized revenge doesn't come with a volume control. You don't get to decide how loud the consequences will be. And sometimes they echo further than you expect.